It's just not a very impressive M5. This, as I said, for me is peak BMW. It is an absolute behemoth of a car. What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by AutoTopNL. My name is Max, and today you join me on a lovely day with two BMW M5s. Both of these cars belong to Thijs Timmermans. That is his former daily, this is his new daily, and today we're going to drive them back to back and see what it's like. I mean, a lot has been said about the new G90 M5, about the weight, about the looks, about the quality, especially build quality of the interior, materials used. So today we're going to find out what it's like when you drive them back to back and if the difference is actually that big. Now, I have to say, little disclaimer, of course, this is an M5 CS, which is probably peak BMW, one of the best M5s ever made, one of the best BMW M's ever made, and we're comparing that to an entry-level M5. Of course, an M5 CS of this generation is also coming, presumably, so yeah, but we cannot compare it to that right now. So what we do have, what I think is pretty cool, is that we've got the best of the F90 M5, and I think this is the best of the G90 M5, the Touring. I think it's better looking, I think it makes more sense, especially because of the weight, you know, it doesn't matter that much anymore. You still have rear-wheel drive if you want it, you can do big skids, and it is super practical. So I actually think that, objectively speaking, it's a really good package. It's just not a very impressive M5, if you ask me. The question is if it can actually, you know, get remotely close to what that is. So I'll show you around both of them. We'll do a quick comparison, front, rear, interior, stuff like that, and then we'll take both of them for a drive on the B road, and after that on the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. Let's have a look at the M5 CS in Brands Hatch Grey, frozen Brands Hatch. One of three colors available on the M5 CS. And well, this is more classic BMW, right? This is where, if you ask me, BMW left off. It's really good looking. It's classic BMW with the kidney grills, not too big. I love the headlights, even though you don't have the angel eyes anymore, but still, it still has a sort of BMW signature. You've got a bit of carbon fiber there, more aggressive bumper, very cool bonnet with the heat extraction vents. It looks muscular, but still it's relatively modest in size. If you compare that to this, it is an absolute behemoth of a car. It is very high. The difference in height of that front end is quite big, but it's more optically bigger. It's fatter, it's a little bit more obese, but it does look very aggressive. I actually think that, you know, it can compete for aggression with the M5 CS, which is something you wouldn't really expect, right, for a base M5, because that looks very aggressive, but so does that. So front end, there's a lot of empty space on this one. So you've got empty body panels there and like empty spaces in those air intakes. And the contrast between those two means that it's very big and aggressive. This looks more purposeful, like it's there for a reason instead of just there to look aggressive, if that makes sense. Of course, you get the yellow daytime running lights for the CS and the gold bronze details around the car, as well as these forged lightweight wheels. Carbon ceramics as standard on the CS. Thijs has spec'd his car really well though. This is a frozen dark blue to match the dark blue on his Ferrari 812 Competizione. That is really a baller move. And then these wheels, apparently you can't get them in the Netherlands normally, but he got them this bronze color. Behind that, carbon ceramics, of course. Weight wise, so let's get that out of the way, 1800 kilos, because it's around 100 kilos lighter than the regular M5, versus 2450. This is the registered weight, so I've taken the weight from both of these license plates, basically, of the registration, 1800, 2450, so it's 650 kilos heavier. Granted, it's also a Touring, so that means that it's heavier to begin with. But this is where it starts to get a little better for me. As I said, I think the Touring is the better body option for the G90. I think it's better looking. I think the lines work better and you don't have that weird rear end. Yeah, I think it's actually quite a successful design, this, with the quad tailpipe, super aggressive diffuser. And then of course you've got a lot of practicality with the big boot. M5 CS, super aggressive with the carbon diffuser, quad tailpipe, nice and thin in that gold bronze again. Little spoiler as well, beautiful rear lights. I think the G30 F90 facelift, the LCI, is a very handsome car. Still is. And it just looks so much smaller and more nimble, agile. Just, I don't know, it looks more like a BMW sedan should, in my opinion. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you prefer that? Do you prefer this? What would you buy if it were your money? I mean, I just saw one for sale in the Netherlands, 149,500 euros in that dark green, matte dark green, really nice. This is around 160, 170 new. So yeah, what would you do? Let me know in the comments. Engine wise, of course, we have also moved on from this, which is the S63 with 635 horsepower V8 bi-turbo, 750 newton meters of torque. You get a 10 horsepower bump over the regular M5, but we all know that they deliver a lot more power than BMW claims, and it is just a regular V8 petrol powered car. 635 750. This, however, has a hybrid drivetrain. That is why it's so heavy, because you have to carry around those batteries. S68, so it's an updated version of that engine. It delivers 585 horsepower, just the V8, and then when you add the electric power, 727 and 1000 newton meters of torque. 0 to 100, 3.6 and 3 seconds, but that is of course CS versus regular one. That's basically it. Interior wise, I've said a lot about the interior on the new 5 Series, and that is because this is what a proper BMW interior looks like, in my opinion. I think this is, for a lot of reasons, peak BMW M. Also because this interior has everything. I mean, analog dials would have been, you know, the cherry on top, but I feel like it's a decent, you know, screen size. It's not too big. You've got this climate control setup here, which is great. It's always there, it stays in the same place. You've got your audio here, the shortcuts, which are also very practical. Then you've got your M stuff gearbox down here. You've got a nice iDrive controller here. This all works. Beautiful steering wheel with Alcantara M1, M2. It's round, it's relatively simple. Yeah, I think this is the way you do it. Beautiful bucket seats as well, with the Nürburgring on there as well. And yeah, seating position is absolutely flawless. You sit nice and low. Steering wheel is extended towards you nicely, and that means that you're so comfortable in this car. You get in it and it just feels like you put it on like a suit, and it is very, very good in that respect. I think in general everything just looks and feels a lot better. It feels more premium to me, and I've read a lot of comments when we first did this car, the new 5 Series, of G30 owners that said it is a massive downgrade when you get into this car. Let's keep it open, a bit hot. So just leave design out of it, okay? Because I think that is subjective. I don't really like it, but that's, you know, my opinion. You might actually like it, but if you leave that out of it, I just feel like there's a lot going on. It's almost as if it's trying to distract me, and I don't really like that. So you've got the dual screen setup. It's okay, it's not too big. iDrive 8.5, still horrible, but it works fine. They added the shortcuts. This is all okay, but the steering wheel I really don't like. I think this looks and feels very cheap. This feels to me like it belongs in a Renault. I don't like this. I don't need a flat bottom. It's too chunky, too big. I don't know. It's all a bit much, I feel. And then everything else in an M5, at least, you know, you get leather everywhere. It's pretty good. build quality is okay. It's just some things like indicator feels very cheap. Window switches feel very cheap. This is something they have changed, I have to say, I think 6 months ago or something like that. But there are definitely cost savings going on in the interior, which is a shame. Hey, I need to show the indicator on this. So this, it feels better, and you can hear the difference as well. There's less of a plasticky click. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so let's get in. Both have a ZF 8-speed gearbox, albeit with probably a little bit more of an aggressive mapping for that car. We also are going to do 0 to 100 and 100 to 200 measurements with both cars. So we've got the RaceBox there. If you want one of these devices, use code F90 G90 for a 10% discount on all RaceBox products. Alrighty, so I'll do a 0 to 100 right here. I'm in M1 mode. There we go. That's a 3.7. Should do 3.6. Will do 3.6 in perfect conditions. Which, let's be honest, is very quick for a 2450 kilo station wagon. What does it feel like on the road? It feels big, it feels wide, it feels comfortable, it feels luxurious, it feels spacious. So everything I say, you immediately have to think, okay, but what's the benefit of that, right? What's the other side of the story? And the other side of the story in this case is it's just a super nice travel companion, basically. And it will also go sideways. It doesn't feel the same. Yes, it does it, and it does it without too much protest, basically. So it's fine doing it. It's just you feel like you're managing a lot more, and there's a filter between you and the car. It's very impressive still, don't get me wrong. The fact that I just did that with a car that weighs this much, you know, a station wagon, you can have your dogs and all your crap in the back. It is really impressive. But I always feel that weight. This is my issue with this car, and why I feel like it doesn't feel like a proper M5. For me, an M5 is a, you know, a business saloon, an executive saloon with a motorsport engine and suspension setup. This is not that. This is a different animal. Yes, it's very quick, but it doesn't have that duality. It's a very big, heavy, fast car. For its weight and for its size, it handles really well. You never escape that feeling. You never escape the feeling that you have to take a lot of weight with you, and that is mainly in corners and on the brakes. You know, when you're on a straight, on the Autobahn for instance, you don't really notice it that much, but every time you turn the wheel or you hit the brakes, you just feel that mass coming behind you. yes, you can, you know, reach incredible speeds on B roads, but it always comes at a price. You're always fighting that weight. And so for me, the conclusion on the B road is it's very impressive for what it is, but it almost feels like you're driving a fast SUV, right? Yes, it's impressive because it's so heavy and big, and you're impressed by how well it still handles. That's the biggest difference that we're going to experience right now with the M5 CS. First thing you notice, seating position. As I said, you sit low, steering wheel, you just look over the steering wheel and you just feel like you're part of the car more than that. You sit on that car, you sit in it on this one. So launch control, same as before, foot on the brake, full throttle. There we go. Oh, 309. So both are a tenth off. But this thing feels so much more dialed in. You feel connected to it. You feel like it enjoys driving on a B road. Don't be mistaken, 1800 kilos, it's not that light, but when you compare it to the G99, it feels like I'm driving an E36 M3. Oh, wow. This on a B road, this is what I mean. This is for me what an M5 should be. Now, both cars of course have rear-wheel drive available. And that means that you can do that. Oh. Okay, so it's truth time, right? I just got in this car. I drove the G99 over here from Thijs to the spot here. I got in the car, put it in rear-wheel drive mode and just did a massive skid. That is how you get into this car. It feels so good. It's a big four-door saloon that can do skids and that is enjoyable to drive on a B road. But when you dial it down, it becomes more than comfortable enough to do your daily driving or do longer trips. It's not like this all of a sudden is a track car, even though it's a CS. So it will be very interesting to see if BMW comes with an M5 CS of the new generation, what that feels like. If they will be able to get this feeling into that car, because this, as I said, for me is peak BMW. Driving it today has only confirmed it for me. I think this is so good and is so capable. So this, I hope, and I'm not the first one to think about this, but I really hope that at BMW someone is driving an M5 CS, this one, you know, for a year, and then thinking, okay, this is what we need to do. All right, on the Autobahn, we're going for M1. This car, by the way, has done 128,000 kilometers. And this is Thijs, his former daily, as I said. Quite a quick car. So we'll also try to do a 100 to 200 measurement, but we do have separate measurements of M5 CS and G99 M5 as well. But it's just to compare The 2, you know, that has almost 100 horsepower extra, but weighs 650 kilos more. And carbon ceramics are just brilliant on both cars. It's just so nice to have. The pedal is great. There's so much reserve. It's also something I feel makes an M5 great. The fact that, well, makes this M5 great. All the controls are so well judged, well weighted, and they all have the same goal: to give you the best driving experience possible. And even though this is the most aggressive M5, I still feel like it's not over the top. And I think that is just great. That is what makes this car so good. It excels at 2 things. Sound wise, I don't think they differ that much. Oh, that's 4-wheel drive sport mode. Wow, it just pulls out of the corners so well. Sound wise, they don't differ that much. They're not the best sounding cars, even though the CS does have a better sound than the regular one. But you know, it's both OPF cars. Let's see if we can do a 100 to 200 measurement after this truck. It's a slight uphill. It's quite a big uphill actually, 7.2. Speed-wise, as you can see, very close, if not identical. Wow, that's pretty cool. And they're working over here. So that's it. Let's switch to the G99. Okay, feels super weird. It honestly feels like I'm in an SUV right now. But let's find out what this feels like on the Autobahn, because I think this is where this car excels. Of course, it's going to struggle with that weight on a B road, but as soon as you get some speed into this car, it changes the way it feels. It turns into something else. Instead of fighting the weight, you're just catapulting down the Autobahn. And driving them back to back, again, speed, very similar. Driving them back to back really gives me a better understanding of both cars. Well, mainly of this car. It just lacks the agility that I so love in that car. Other than that, it actually feels like a proper BMW, because this too has been set up really well. Yes, there are more filters. Yes, it feels more distant than that car. So we'll just have to hope that everything that they did with that car, they will be able to sort of emulate that when they give us the M5 CS of the G90 generation. But the main thing that stays with you when you drive them back to back is how big this car feels compared to that. It's crazy. I feel like I'm 30 centimeters higher in this car. I'm not, but it just feels so different. What this car excels at is Autobahn driving. It really is. If you take this car on your holiday to the south of France, or you know, skiing or whatever, this thing will be almost unbeatable. You have proper space, it's super quick. It has some decent electric range as well. I mean, it is an incredible all-rounder. I just don't really feel the same confidence I feel in that car. It's a lot more comfy though, it's more quiet. Suspension is more comfortable. Oh, brakes are really good. Pedal is a little bit softer though. That might also have something to do with the fact that we've already done some driving, but I feel like this pedal is a bit longer, a bit, I don't know, less aggressive. So let's go to this one for a little 100 to 200 measurement. I just did a quicker 200 to 250 I think than that car, 6.6. But it's difficult to compare the two because it's a little bit up and down here. So I'll just do a 100 to 200. That's a 7.4. I did a 7.2 with that car, I think. Yeah, pretty close. You've seen it. They are pretty close. You know, from a standstill, that car off the line, way quicker. B-roads, way quicker. Much more confidence inspiring. In general, an incredible car. This is a really capable daily, and it takes that you know, executive sedan aspect of it, and it enhances that. That car takes the dynamic capabilities and enhances that. So of course, if you compare a CS to a regular M5, that's what you're going to end up with. But it's interesting to see why that car is so great, and I really hope that they will be able to get that feeling into this car, you know, despite the weight, because it is a very capable car. It always leaves me slightly unsatisfied, and I got into that car and I was just immediately sold again, and I think that's the biggest difference. So I also asked on our Instagram stories if you had any questions regarding these two cars, G99 versus CS F90. Most of the questions were about which car is faster, you know, the weight difference versus the power difference. That car is slightly faster in our measurements. We did 6.7 with that car, and a G90, we're going to compare it to a G90 sedan. We did 7.1, so that car is actually quite a bit quicker. What do they feel like when you drive them back to back was another question. I think I've answered that. That one feels light, agile, aggressive, purposeful. This feels comfortable, very fast, and as an incredible travel companion. One person said that one will be a future classic. This one will not prove me wrong. This one will not be prove me wrong. I am not going to prove you wrong. I agree with you. They only made around 1,000 of those. It's not a limited edition, but they didn't produce them for a limited amount of time. So that's definitely going to be a future classic. Which one would I buy for myself? That one. Which one would I buy for myself? That one. No brainer. Sound comparison, we've done that as well, and I think that covers most of the questions. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Big video. Let me know what you think. How do you feel about these two cars? Have you changed your mind in any way on this car? I know that a lot of you were very skeptical about this car when it came out, so it will be interesting to see what you guys think. Massive thanks to Thijs Timmermans for letting us have a go in both of his dailies. To you guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe by clicking the big button, really helps us out. Check out this video, this playlist. See you at the next one. Bye.